morning, Central Texas. Welcome to Kids Community Connections at My Kids 1031. I'm Phyllis Jones, your host, and you know what? It's getting warm outside, and you all know how I feel about the warm weather. Because, you know, somehow or another, when it gets warm, people get angry, and, you know, we have more violence. Y'all have to admit, because during January, it was cold. We had very little violence. So I'm sticking by my thing. We need to have cold weather. Maybe all year round, maybe not. But anyway, you know, last week was Election Day. And I know we had the highest voter turnout that we've had in years, but you know what? It kind of still wasn't enough. You know, I heard more people complaining that didn't vote, you know, and I told you before, if you didn't vote, don't talk to me about how the vote went. Really, don't talk to me. Just ignore me because you're part of the problem. And we need to all get together and vote. And, you know, like I told you, this is the most important election that we have. For the primaries was very important, but November we need to gear up and be ready, because if you want to change the way the United States is going, then you need to vote. If you like the way the United States is going, you need to get a boat and get out of here. But I didn't say that. Yes, I really did. I did say that. You need to just go. So that's my small soapbox for this morning. But you know, March is Women's Month. Really, Women's Day is every day because we're in charge of the world. Yes, I said that, men, women are in charge. We, you know, every time we let you all step forward, y'all mess up. So we have to kind of kick y'all out the way. And Thursday was International Women's Day. And, you know, and I was paying attention on social media and all medias and just people, and realized that most women did not know that. And, you know, even McDonald's noticed that, because a lot of the McDonald's turned the arch upside down in support of International Women's Day. So I would like to commend McDonald's for doing that, because they're the only ones who stepped out and did that. And that was really cool. But, you know, we do need to focus on us women, because a lot of times we get to a place where we shouldn't be and we don't know how to get out. Or sometimes we get into a place that we need to be there for right now, but when times get better for us, we still don't know how to get out, you know, so you end up making the same nightmare choice over and over again. And a lot of times, women, our problem is that the circle that we're in, you know, we become sometimes part of a circle that we need to get out of it. And we wonder why we're not progressing, why we're not moving ahead, why we're not doing anything. But, you know, if you sit and look around your circle, you'll realize that they're all in the same boat you are. They're in what we call the valley. And, you know, there's a book about value in the valley, and we should read that book. But, you know, sometimes we get stuck in that valley with the valley of friends. And, you know, those friends that we're stuck in the valley with, they stay in the valley, and they want you in the valley with them. You know, you want to get out. You want to know how to move up. You want to know how to move ahead. But that valley of friends will keep you down there with them, because misery loves company. You know, so they will let you know you can't do, oh, don't try that, girl. So-and-so tried that and it didn't work. And unfortunately, sometimes we will fall for that, and we'll stay there, because all the women who they say tried it, we look around and they're still in the valley too. So we'll assume, and sometimes we will believe that we women can't get out of it, when guess what? We can. You really can. And I always say, you're like 3 people away from moving up. Everybody, if you look around and you think about not the circle you're in, but the people you know, you're only like 3 people short of where you need to go. So in your circle, when you get out of it, like I said, the third person you run into will be the person that helps you get out. But that circle that you're in, you women, we need to know that we can get out of it. You know, so today we're going to talk to a lady. Her name, I met her last week, and she's really cool. She's full of energy. You know, I thought I was full of energy, so me and her could be co-energy people, you know, because she, like me, probably doesn't sleep. I would say that she, like me, we don't know how to sleep, because somehow or another your brain keeps running and it won't stop. And, you know, people laugh when you say my brain keeps going and it won't stop. And, you know, it really won't. And I don't know if she's like me, but, you know, the last thing people need to have is me at home quiet. Because if I'm at home quiet, that means I'm planning something. And if planning something means inviting people that I know into my plan. So, you know, some people say you need to go home and rest. I'll tell them, no, you really don't want me to, because there's going to be a next event after I'm resting and quiet. But I met Cinderella last week. And like I said, I saw her twice, in fact, last week. I was with her we've been together for 2 events, going and talking. And each time she lets me know that, you know, her Energizer battery is revved up. So I think she plugs it in at night. And in the morning, the battery is going. But good morning, Cinderella. How are you?
Good morning, Phyllis. Thanks for having me.
Of course. I need you here because as I was talking about the women in the Valley, the Valley loves miserable women. When you get in the Valley with some women, they tend to keep you down in the Valley with them. And you've been in the Valley before and you got out of the Valley. So as Women's Month, we need to know that you can be down there in the Valley with the other women, hanging out and, and talking about don't try to get out because she did and she didn't. And you get into the vicious Valley circle and don't know how to get out. So what about you?
Let me tell you what's really funny that you would start the sentence with that. First of all, I want to tell you thank you for having me.
Sure.
And it's really funny because we did meet Saturday and then immediately we kept on bumping into each other. It's like God was ordaining us to get connected. Yeah. But at every turn, we did not get each other's phone numbers. So God made sure we bumped each other. Well, let me tell you, when it's such a coincidence that you start with the Valley. Mm-hmm. I have a book that comes out in November and my second book is Through the Valley of the Shadow. Right. And I will tell you that presently, even though I made it out of the Valley and I still struggle with stuff that everyone struggles with.
Do you mind letting us know where your Valley ended up being?
My Valley ended up being, I came from a house of a big family and I was sexually abused by some of my siblings. And the sexual abuse prolonged for like an extension of 15 years of my life.
Wow. From
diapers to young adulthood. And because of it, what I developed was a character that was mean and bonded and didn't know what love was. So at a very young age, I was like 13 years old. People didn't know it around me. I drank vodka for breakfast.
Whoa.
I popped pills from the moment I rose to the moment I went to bed because I had a brain injury. And they gave me painkillers at the age of 6 years old.
Oh my.
Because of my brain injury. So I carried them in my tiny pocket. I used to call it my treasure box. Thank you, God, because he broke my treasure box.
Yes.
He used to keep it in my treasure box. And I used to drink alcohol, vodka, because it was one that didn't smell. And my Valley really ended up to a degree that I ended up in every situation, in every corner, I was in a violent situation. I was constantly putting myself in danger. I was sabotaging my daily life. And to even go further, I damaged those around me.
Right.
I ended up losing custody of my children because it wasn't that I didn't care. It's just I didn't know how to care.
Correct. Right.
Because there's a big difference. People like to go, oh, I don't care. Or no, there's a big difference. You can say you don't care, but in reality you care. You just don't know you care.
Right.
Because you're so broken that you feel, well, you know what? I overcame this, so why can't she?
Right. Yeah.
I went through this, why can't he? So I ended up in a really bad place. Presently, it's again going back to the Valley. Presently, I bumped into women in my life that I met years ago. And some of these women that have chosen, because it's a choice,
right,
to stay in the Valley, were being rude to me and angry. And I found myself that I actually will tell you, I'm a crybaby. When someone's mean to me, I be polite. I'm very frank and very honest. But when I'm alone, I'm gonna cry out to Jesus for them. I'm gonna say, God, heal their heart. Father, Lord, what is the area that hasn't been touched? And in doing that, I pray for me. So I had someone be really mean to me, and I'm not talking about just one. It was a group of ladies, and I kept on wondering, did I deserve this? Was I okay to just act like nothing ever happened to me? Because people keep telling me, oh, that didn't happen to you. Look at you, you're so joyful. And God said something to me, Phyllis. God said to me, you don't wear it on your shoulders anymore. You don't wear it on your arm. You don't walk around as a victim. Because you see, you can be in the Valley, but as you make it out, you have to take off the garments of shame.
Right.
You have to be able to stand up and say, I can do this. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. You can begin to rise. It's not an easy task, but I believe in reconditioning the mind and the soul. So I read a lot. I search God a lot. I listen to empowered music. These women that we talked about, that they're like, well, she didn't make it. I was one of those.
Right.
And because of it, I was one of those that if someone was trying to move forward, Miss Phyllis, I grabbed on and I pulled back too. Yeah. And then one day God said to me, well, now that I've pulled you out, can you grab some woman and catapult you? Even if they go beyond and further than I'm going to take you, catapult these chicks. Because God talks to me in my language, everybody, he talks to us as we are. And that began to change. And it started really basic. Catapulting one of my own children, watching one of my own children overcome and do more than I did at her age. Right. And being able to see her as an individual, not a child that, she's my daughter. And be excited as a woman as she was. And it just began really slowly, and it began with praying for women that were mean. It began every time I bumped into a mean woman, I would turn around and hug them. I will tell you that my son's sitting right here, and everyone would always ask me, my kids, Mom, why are you so nice to, true face, why are you so nice to those mean ladies? I said, because I was that mean lady. And while God is taking me through a point that I have to break the shell of who I was, I'm going to have to fight through. And my drill and my saw and my tool was love.
Yeah.
So it really worked for me. I still have issues because I'm a human being.
Right.
And recently I've been addressing the fact that I struggle with sadness.
Yeah.
And sometimes I wonder, is it my sadness, or is it a sadness that in reality belongs to someone else? And yesterday, as I worked with all the dressers for the Overcomers Ball, March 17, get your tickets. As I was sewing through the night and beading and making all these dresses look like they're completely new, God was talking to my spirit, and he was telling me, your sadness sometimes isn't yours. Your sadness is because I've pulled you out, and you so desperately want to rip the jaded glasses off other women and tell them, you can, girl. Just get up. Put on, I used to always say, get up, put on that lipstick, and move forward. So it's a sadness that comes from watching other women not want to fight to get out the valley.
Or not know. Well, some women don't have that. They want to get out, but they don't have the mental strength.
You're right.
To get out. True. Because, you know, I volunteer a lot in the housing authority. And, you know, I was talking to one lady, we're just talking. She didn't really know me, or she knew nothing about me other than we were just sitting there talking. She didn't know I was supposed to be there. I was invited to come and talk to the women, but she didn't know that because I was just sitting amongst everybody else. You know, so she said, you know, and when it was time to go eat, I didn't go get anything to eat. You know, so she said, it's okay, you can go get something to eat. I'm like, no, I'm not hungry. You know, she said, oh, no. It's for us. We need to go get something to eat. You know, and I'm letting her know. I say, no, I'm truly not hungry. I said, I'm not hungry because I don't want to eat there. I said, I ate before I left home. You know, she goes, oh, well, yeah, but she's still, you know, and I realized at that point, she assumed that I was with her, you know, and I never said, oh, I'm better than, you know, I didn't say a word. And I kept expressing her that I ate before I left home. You know, so yeah, she said, okay, fine. I said, well, if there's something to drink that has no sugar in it, bring it to me. You know, you can bring me a bottle of water. You know, and she did. She bought me some water, and she sat down, and she was trying to tell me how to get out of the valley, which was really cool. How cute. You know? She was telling me how I can get out. She said, because I'm working on it. We can work on this together. And I asked her, I said, so what kind of valley are you in? You know, and she started telling me about, you know, her own self. But she never, luckily, and I'm glad it happened that way, she never had a chance to ask me because it was time for me to speak. So while the person was introducing me, she was still talking to me. And I'm listening to both. Because, you know, if you work with special kids, you can listen to a bunch of people at one time. But I'm listening to her, and, you know, and I was thinking to say, please do not let her have to ask me, because I don't want to. I don't want to say, well, I'm not, you know, I'm not. I didn't want to say anything, you know, that would have caused her to think of me differently, you know. And so by then, the guy who was introducing me called me up to speak. I got up. She said, "Girl, where you going? Sit down. We got to hear the speaker." I said, "I am the speaker."
Praise God.
You know, she looked at me. She goes, "You what?" "I am the speaker." She said, "But girl, you sitting here with us." I said, "Because I hate sitting in the front." I said, "See, sitting back here, I heard your story. I heard hers. I heard hers. I heard hers." I said, "But had I been in the front," I said, "but if I was in the front where where they wanted me to be, I wouldn't have heard no one's stories." I said, "So the danger of sitting up front is you don't get a feel for where you are and what's going on." So, you know, I got up there and I began to speak, but my first part of the speech was about them. You know, was about them. You know, I said, you know, I sat there for a reason. I never pointed them out, but I said, I sat back there and I listened to a group of women teach me what I did not know. You know, I said, they're in the valley and trying to get out. I said, but at the same time, they were trying to help me get out. I said, and I want to tell them that I'm not in the valley, but I respect those that get out of the valley. I say, and I told her, I said, I'm confident enough to get in there with you but to drive out. I said, because the valley is something you drive in and you get out. I said, because every now and then you got to get to the valley to get somebody out. I said, and you got to learn how to go back to where you came from. I said, because at one point in life, we all had one. I said, one point of your life, you had the valley. You were in it. I said, I don't care if you were in it 10 minutes, 5 days, whatever. At one point in life, we were all in the valley. And some of us drove in and out. Some of us drove in, your car broke down and you stayed. You know?
It's so funny because I just had a vision when you were saying that. It's so funny you use that you said about the car, because when you were saying it, I saw myself driving in a car, and I saw myself putting these metal hooks on my car so that everybody can grab on and I could pull them out with me and be like, grab on, let's go, because that's how I feel.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful how we've connected. I think we have king spirits, because I feel that's how I feel. I feel like I'm going back to hell and I'm gonna pull some people out.
Right.
And I may have to sit a while to get one of them to realize, come on, you can. It's okay. I don't mind putting on my sneakers and my jeans and climbing in and getting all dirty and digging up a path just to get someone out of the tunnel. Because I thank God for women in my life like you. A woman in my life that was strong, educated, wise, who at some point in their life had been in the valley, but God had given them already the revelation. And I was still wallowing in my self-pity and my, and I didn't know how. I got up every day, and every day I said, I'm going to do this. And 3 days out of 5 were good, and then the other 2 days were horrible.
Right.
And my point was, I reached a point that I was suicidal constantly.
Yeah.
I looked well put together, Ms. Phyllis, but on a weekly basis, I used to attempt suicide. And I would drink a bunch of different pills, and I would rise up, and I would be like, man, like I was really trying to kill myself.
Right.
I used to be like, and mind you, I was trying to kill myself. This is how disconnected I was because of my abuse. I was trying to kill myself with my kids in the other room. I was so disconnected to the reality that I was going to damage another generation.
Right.
That I could not find a way. Record me on yours. I could not find a way. It was a point in my life where my life came to a halt. That was what happened to me. How I made it out was that I had to confront the fact that I was not okay. I was damaged goods. Everyone in my life called me the black sheep. They called me this, they called me that. But it was when my life came to a halt. I will tell you, I got arrested in 1993. And when I got arrested, they took my children away, Miss Phyllis.
Yes.
Immediately, I got arrested. They picked up my kids. They threw me in jail. They accused me of things I didn't do. If I would have been arrested for what I did, it was different, but I didn't. I got arrested for something that I had nothing to do with. I was the wrong place, the wrong time. But guess what? I made the choice to make the bad decisions. Right. So yes, you know what? It was my fault. Yeah. And I lost my kids, and my life, even though that was a halt and I couldn't reach my kids for a month, what really was the most biggest thing was they gave my children to my one-night sexual abusers. Oh no. My daughter and my son, when they finally told me where they placed my children, they said, well, we gave them to your brother. And I was like, no, this man did this for all these years of my life. And because I was the one that was arrested, because I was the one being questioned, he didn't have a history, I was told that I was a liar.
Okay, because you were the one.
Yeah, I was on mirror. But let me tell you, it is really bad, and I just feel like this is something I want to share. It is really bad to realize that even those closest to you, that known you all your life, that you would believe they want the best for you, are the ones to want to help you less when you want to get out of the hole. When I got to that point and I began to embrace the fact that I really need help, I will tell you that to this day, I'm grateful for the jail. I'm grateful for someone actually standing up and saying, she's wrong. Because it's what changed my life. It's what saved my life. You know, I used to go to bed with drugs, go to sleep with drugs. I would leave my children alone. I would go out and party all night and then get up in the morning and take them to school. My house was a disaster. I was manic depressive, suicidal, liar, cheater, thief, drug dealer. I mean, if I can add on more, there would probably be like a line behind me of definitions. But I met Jesus in jail, Miss Phyllis. Yeah. I met Jesus in jail, and it wasn't because I met him because I was terrified. God placed me. There was a girl above me, and she was a Christian girl. She would pray, and I would hear her. And she didn't pray like, oh, poor me. She said, thank you, God, because you empowering me, because you're teaching me. And it was Rosa Martinez. I wish I could find her. I've never found her in my life. I found a lot of other people that shared that destiny with me. But it was that point. And even then, I met God. They took my kids away. They gave them to my sexual abuser. None of that was enough, even though within the fears, for the halt that really caused the breaking. It was when I came out of jail and I was faced with the fact that I needed to change everything in my life. I needed to change who I spoke to, where I ate, where I slept, who I talked to, what decisions I made. And it was not easy. It was a journey of 10 years of my life, but it was the most amazing experience.